Hours later, sun wakes me up. I roll over to see an empty cup, and all that's left is a hasty note. And this is all she wrote. Thank you for that drink for free, but you were way too drunk to get up for me. I hope this fills you up with shame, and I know you'll never remember my name. What's your name? What was your name? What was your name? Hey, what's your name, girl? I think you might have been good fun. What's your name, girl? I wasn't close to your number one. Hey, what's your name, girl? Couldn't remember what I did see. What's your name, girl? I guess you weren't the one for me. Hey, what's your name, girl? What's your name, girl? Hey, what's your name, girl? What's your name, girl? Wow! Hey, bartender, slide over a shot. Tequila, rum, or whiskey, whatever you got. Hey, pretty lady, where you going so fast? You better understand this night's gonna last. Tell you what, we got a party tonight. Oh, Bill's on piano, John's ready to fight. But if this night starts to go downhill, I'll take up my slug, I ain't afraid to kill. It's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls who bark at the moon. I said it's midnight at the saloon. You better stick around, we're going nowhere soon. Chatting of girls, the saloon door swings. Rifles on their back, strutting in like kings. Mills and Co, the wildest of the West, till little Luke comes to do what he does best. It's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls who bark at the moon. I said it's midnight at the saloon. You better stick around, we're going nowhere soon. The scars on his face, a gun in his hand. Well, girls, you best believe this guy's a one-man band. ond yn gofyn os allet ti ystyried A'r cariad hwn yn y modol Mae rhaid I mi wybod yn nawr oes gennym ni dyfodol Wyt ti'n ymddwyn fel hyn a phawb Wel allai gymryd fy nghalon yn ôl Mae rhaid I mi symud ymlaen ac edrych i'r dyfodol Yn ara deg mae'r misoedd yn mynd heibio Mae dy
Hello and welcome back to the Welsh Esports League Season 3 of our Overwatch 2 tournament, and today we have the final day of the group stage. One of these two teams coming up tonight will be making it on to our semi-finals at a shot at that grand final and the ultimate prize. Who will it be? Will it be the Swans or will it be the Pirates? Both teams looking for that all-important win, and I am Golin Molu. Joining me here tonight to unravel, to find our final team in the semi-finals, it's Edu. Welcome back once again. It's lovely to see you.
Yeah, nice to be here yet again. I mean, it's nothing like going across the pond to cast some Overwatch and Valorant and all the other things that the Welsh Esports League puts on for us. But I'm excited that we're actually going to be looking at, a potential playoff stage. I know that we usually here at Season 1 and 2, we did a round robin. So this is new for the players and new for us. So I can't wait to see what kind of competition it brews up.
Yeah, it does make things a little bit more interesting, and especially going into next week. Next week on Thursday is when we'll be bringing you the semi-final and grand final all in one evening. Very action-packed night, so make sure you tune in again for that. But we have to find out who's going to be partaking, and we'll have a quick chat about the two groups before we jump into our game. But Group A, this is what our match is from. The Pit Ponies, undefeated, they had the 3-0 sweep. They're through as our Group A winners. Swans and Pirates fighting for that second place. Both of these teams losing out to the Pit Ponies, both of them getting the wins against esports organizations, so the win here tonight, very important for them. And in our other group, in Group B, it's the Artists on the clean sweep. They are the full 9 points. The Wolfhounds are playing tonight against the Robins. Robins, unfortunately, will be our last place team, 0 points so far. I guess they could technically get a win, but their round differential, it's not going to be enough to get them anywhere outside of that fourth, but still have an important game for them because the Wolfhounds tied with Ronda Rising, who've already played and lost their game, so they can't score any points. So it's basically just a tiebreaker differential. So I think Wolfhounds are probably safe as our second place team in Group B. So this really is just our last deciding slot.
Yeah, and looking at the fact that we are going in for a best of 5 here, there's a lot to really showcase yourself and prove yourselves in. Obviously, Overwatch is a map and a game of many modes, so you're gonna have to see a lot of these players being able to be confident on quite a few different heroes and quite a few different maps. For example, you're not going to be able to one-trick your way through a Welsh Esports League, at least not at this stage. So I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing the best level of gameplay from the Swans. I saw that they were gassing themselves up on X or Twitter. I was looking in the background, seeing these teams and what they do to, rock the social medias, but I'm excited for this. This is going to be a very interesting way to watch these players, prove themselves to get into that bracket stage as we know it. But, prediction-wise, both of these teams, I'd say, are on a pretty even terms, so it could swing either way here.
Yeah, it really could. I think the Swans are the team historically you're looking at to be in that semi-final, right? We talked about this at the start of last week, at the very start, before we'd seen that for opening game between the Pit Ponies and the Swans, and we're saying, I had the Swans to win that game. Pit Ponies came out in an incredible form and took it down. So I'd be very shocked if we don't see the Swans make it through. I think it would be a big upset for the league as a whole to have a team who has consistently been that second place team drop out, not even make it to that playoffs. The Pirates still have a good chance here. And again, another team that's consistently sort of fighting for that mid-table. With a couple changes to their roster, they've looked pretty decent. They've had some good games. They had a 3-1 against the Pit Ponies. So going off of strength of schedule, I guess you could say, they are maybe a little bit weaker than the Swans on paper in that, but that's in the Pit Ponies matchup. This is the Swans-Pirates matchup. This is one that really matters. And for that, you're coming into this first opening control map. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what each team can bring in. Whoever starts this series on that upper foot, taking control, I think is going to have a massive advantage. You also look at, if you hit that map 5, it's another control. Already having a win on the game mode that you're going to be playing in that tiebreaker can be a really important sort of boost for that confidence, for that team morale coming into a final map, because you go, look, we've done it before. We've already beat them here. We know exactly what we have to do. We can just go in, play our game plan out once again, and sure, the map will be a little bit different. But ultimately, I don't think it should be too much for you to worry about. I think the rotation here is Busan, Oasis, and Lijiang Tower. So we're quite interested to see. I think a lot of these maps sort of lean into the same sort of very aggressive gameplay. There's a lot of long open corridors that you can really use to your advantage. And we've seen some interesting team compositions come out throughout this season as a result of that. I mean, we've seen all sorts of tank lineups, right? We've seen Reinhardt's, Oryssa's, we've seen the Wrecking Ball come out, we've seen the Diva, we've seen the Junker Queen, we saw a little peek of the Roadhog, and we've seen the Sigma. So, and we've seen Ramacha. In fact, we've seen all 8 tanks played this season, which is just really cool to see that we're not seeing teams sort of limit themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at how these guys have been able to compete so far, we have a wide pool of talent here. But of course, we're going to have to, first off, make sure that these talented players can get into a lobby together. As we are waiting for that to happen, we are going to be sending it to a short break. So stick around, everybody, as next time we're on, the gameplay will be live, and these guys have a lot to prove. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Later, sun wakes me up. I roll over to see an empty cup, and all that's left is a hasty note, and this is all she wrote. Thank you for that drink for free, but you were way too drunk to get up for me. I hope this fills you up with shame, and I know you'll never remember my name. What's your name? What was your name? What was your name? Hey, what's your name, girl? I think you might have been good fun. What's your name, girl? I wasn't close to your number one. Hey, what's your name, girl? Couldn't remember what I did see. What's your name, girl? I guess you weren't the one for me. Hey, what's your name, girl? What's your name, girl? Hey, what's your name, girl? What's your name, girl? Wow! Bartender, slide over a shot. Tequila, rum, or whiskey, whatever you got. Hey, pretty lady, where you going so fast? You better understand this night's gonna last. Tell you what, we got a party tonight. Oh, Bill's on piano, John's ready to fight. But if this night starts to go downhill, I'll take up my slug, I ain't afraid to kill. It's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls. girls on their back strutting in like kings. Mills and Co, the wildest of the West, till little Luke comes to do what he does best. It's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls who bark at the moon. I said it's midnight at the saloon. You better stick around, we're going nowhere soon. The scars on his face, a gun in his hand. Well, girls, you best believe this guy's a one-man band. It's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls who bark at the moon. I said it's midnight at the saloon. You better stick around, we're going nowhere, 'cause it's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls who bark at the moon. I said it's midnight at the saloon. You better stick around, we're going nowhere soon. O ddifydd rwy'n teimlo'n hun yn drysu, am beth ti'n meddwl amdana i. A'r unig beth sy'n dod yn amlwg, ti mond yn hoffi ffos arw i. Gweithaf ymdrechion, gweithaf yng ngorau glas. Just ro fi ryw fath o syniad, does dim angen fy mor gas. Dwi ond yn gofyn os allet ti ystyried a'r cariad hwn yn ymodol. Mae rhaid i mi wybod yn nawr oes gennym ni dyfodol. Wyt ti'n ymddwyn fel hyn a phawb? Wel, allai gymryd fy nghalon yn ôl. Mae rhaid i mi symud ymlaen ac edrych i'r dyfodol. Yn ara deg mae'r misoedd yn mynd heibio. Mae dy lais wedi gadael fy mhen. Dwi llenwi'r gwagled y gormod o gwrw. Mae'r gwrthwynebiad yn dod i ben. Gweithio Quiet night at a random place. There's a human fish behind the bar. Nothing to do, ain't nothing to see. I just want some action for no fee. I see your random beautiful face. I fell in love from afar, just like a scene from a Shakespeare play. But I had no idea what to say. And I said, hey, what's your name, girl? 'Cause you seem like the best of fun. What's your name, girl? Sure I wasn't your number one. Hey, what's your name, girl? Couldn't believe what I could see. What's your name, girl? I wanted you all for me. Couldn't believe what I could see. So I offered her a drink for free. But what do you know, my luck was in. I got ready for a night of sin. We drank another shot or three. Played one for you, two for me. I got so drunk from the game that I completely forgot her name. And I said, hey, what's your name, girl? 'Cause you seem like the best of fun. What's your name, girl? Sure I wasn't your number one. Hey, what's your name, girl? Couldn't believe what I could see. What's your name, girl? I wanted you all for me. Hours later, sun wakes me up. I roll over to see an empty cup, and all that's left is a hasty note. And this is all she wrote. Thank you for that drink for free, but you were way too drunk to get up for me. I hope this fills you up with shame, and I know you'll never remember my name. What's your name? What was your name? What was your name? Hey, what's your name, girl? I think you might have been good fun. What's your name, girl? I wasn't close to your number one. Hey, what's your name, girl? Couldn't remember what I did see. What's your name, girl? I guess you weren't the one for me. Hey, what's your name? bartender, slide over a shot. Tequila, rum or whiskey, whatever you got. Hey, pretty lady, where you going so fast? You better understand this night's gonna last. Tell you what, we got a party tonight. Oh, Bill's on piano, John's ready to fight. But if this night starts to go downhill, I'll take up my slug, I ain't afraid to kill. It's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls who bark at the moon. I said it's midnight at the saloon. You better stick around, we're going nowhere soon. Chatting up girls, the saloon door swings. Rifles on their back, strutting in like kings. Mills and Co, the wildest of the West, till Lil Luke comes to do what he does best. It's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls who bark at the moon. I said it's midnight at the saloon. You better stick around, we're going nowhere soon. The scars on his face, a gun in his hand. Well, girls, you best believe this guy's a one-man band. It's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls who bark at the moon. I said it's midnight at the saloon. You better stick around, we're going nowhere, 'cause it's midnight at the saloon. There's liquor, guns, and girls who bark at the moon. I said it's midnight at the saloon. You better stick around, we're going nowhere soon. wrth wynebiad yn dod I ben gweithaf yn drechion gweithaf yng ngorau glas allai dod draw I weld ti heno dwi'n ysu am y rhyw fath o flas dwi ond yn gofyn os allet ti ystyried a'r cariad hwn yn y modol mae rhaid I mi wybod yn nawr oes gennym ni dyfodol wyt ti'n ymddwyn fel hyn a phawb wel allai gymryd fy nghalon yn ôl mae rhaid I mi symud ymlaen ac edrych i'r dyfodol dwi ond yn gofyn os allet ti ystyried a'r cariad hwn yn y modol mae rhaid I mi wybod yn nawr oes gennym ni dyfodol wyt ti'n ymddwyn fel hyn a phawb wel allai gymryd fy nghalon yn ôl mae rhaid I mi symud ymlaen ac edrych i'r dyfodol Quiet night at a random place there's a human fish behind the bar nothing to do ain't nothing to see I just want some action for no fee I see a random beautiful face I fell in love from afar just like a scene from a Shakespeare play but I had no idea what to say and I said hey what's your name girl 'cause you seem like the best of fun what's your name girl sure I wasn't your number one hey what's your name girl couldn't believe what I could see what's your name girl I wanted you all for me couldn't believe what I could see so I offered her a drink for free but what do you know my luck was in I got ready for a night of sin we drank enough
Hello, welcome back. Apologies for the delay in getting things started, but we are now ready to witness the last day of the group stage. The Swans taking on the Pirates for that final spot in our semi-finals. Golimolu is me, Edu is joining me to my other side, here we go. And we are now ready to launch into our first and only game of the evening, best of 5, so we will have a fair few maps to come, sort of bridge that content gap before the semi-finals and the finals in our playoffs next week. But I'm going to ask you for a final little guess. Who do you think to take on this? If you had to put your hat in the ring, if you had to give us a team that is going to be making that last semi-final spot.
Well, the Pirates is in chat right now, so I don't want to let them down. So I'm going to say the Swans. But no, I think it's going to come down to who's going to be playing the best. I think what we've seen from the Pirates this season has been really clean, but let's actually see what they can do this day. It doesn't matter how they've done any other day before right now, because this is when they break through into that playoff bracket on Lijiang Tower Night Market in Game 1.
Of course, interestingly to note, both Septi and Gwyn are making the lineup. Both of these are the tank players, and we've seen the Swans go with this change where, depending on the map, depending on how they're feeling, they'll bring different players in. But it is going to be Gwyn starting out on the Baptiste, Septi rocking the Ramatra that is also a Bastion, making an appearance once more. So still seeing the return of our favourite robot. The other side, looking quite different, more of that Brawl comp, both bringing the Mei, which we've seen have massive value, but the Reinhardt, the ability to get up close and personal. How does that match up against the Ramatra, though? I guess we'll have to see.
And that we will, but looking at these guys, they're running it down with a speed boost from Lucio, but already on site, they have been using a great wall to get there, and it's just a Duke of out, and they're rolling in it for it. But wait a minute, this Mei trying to get as much space as possible, but they're not able to touch the site quite yet. Where's their tank? The Ramatra needs to try to penetrate through this giant ice wall of defense, and yeah, it's just not going to happen. I think the first point we know is going to be going on to the Pirates here.
Unless someone can get on to contest it now, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. The Bastion finally popping things out. The Lamp try and keep it alive as they ram through the team. Mini Mythical is able to get one kill, but Bongo trotting out in return for the tank gives them a big advantage. The window pulled up very early, and the ice wall isolates the Ramatra. No way to get the healings in from Gwyn or Orpheus, so eventually they're going to be forced to back away, despite the fact they had that opening pick onto the tanks, and still continuing to fight around the point despite losing it. Now, with Beast being back as well, this is going to become a little bit of a slaughter as they get walled off from running back to the spawn, and that's even more potential time wasted off that clock, already at 25% on the first point for the Pirates.
Wow, I mean 20, make it 30% now. Orpheus did have to go for a hard reset here, but will respawn pretty quick to help this team zoom their way on. The Swans not looking too hot, but I gotta hand it to them. The heat is definitely cooking here for these attackers, but here they are trying to now switch it up. They got a Mei of their own. Eye drops in the rest of the sim, but what a wall catches this player off guard, but the lamp is going to save them beautifully. Shatter is online, but we're gonna have to see if they're gonna find a nice clap, and there we go. Claps everyone down, not able to save too much, and that's gonna take advantage and get a multi-kill, and even with the Mei ult to combo. Beautiful job there.
But again, just seeing the Pirates having more access to these ultimates, building them up quicker, and it's because they're able to just get so much trickle damage coming in from the side of the Swans. Sure, Orpheus has got their ult, Gwyn just used their window, but it's fed into what? The earliest window I think we've seen all season long coming in for Roach, who's already nearly got their second one ready and nearly at that 90% mark. And now it's a bit of a last-ditch effort to just try and walk on in here as Ramatra, going tank mode, is able to get the early pick onto the Lucio, trying to hunt down onto the Mei as well, who's just going into the lock. But it doesn't matter, the Hive ultimate just doing so much damage, and that's the power of this Ramatra pick, as Bongo finally have to drop in a nade to get themselves a kill as well, and swing the fight with just the use of that Ramatra ult. Nothing else was needed, just Septi full sending it into the middle of the team.
Wow. Beautiful job there. That's how you want to be playing it, and they might be able to keep this going. But now I'm looking forward to hopefully a round that can slow these players down a bit. But hey, they got the point, and that's all you have to do. That's a start, a slow start anyways, but let's do this now. Running it down, we are having even more ultimates. It looks like the artillery strikes coming through right onto eye drops, and unfortunately the Ramatra's just beating on him. Septi knows how to hold this down, but the Mei is slowing him. Unfortunately, with this beat drop, I don't think that's going to keep him alive for much longer. And yeah, bye-bye Gwyn. And oh no, we're seeing a big recontest here. Not many players left to try to hold it besides this Mei, who's doing a great job to clean it up, and they actually managed to just wipe everyone and recap the whole point.
And someone's going to try to get back to contest it, but everyone getting wiped so quickly. It looks like it's the job of the, well, I don't even know who's going to be the first one back. Bastion able to touch to force that overtime. Ace on that Mei going down immediately afterwards, and no one else nearby to walk in to contest. And the first point will go very comfortably to the Pirates, and you can see the big difference here in this game. It was that early ultimate control that the Pirates were able to get, right? The Swans lose out that initial fight, despite the fact that they take down Beast as the first pick. They immediately lose Bongo, obviously the sentry being used to get the kill onto that Reinhardt, and from there, they just didn't have the consistent damage coming through to be able to finish off and find these final picks. Eye drops charging up they're done, right? The beam just does so much damage in burning down the tank of Septi when you have no way of blocking to prevent that barrier damage. So in the end, it just falls over to them, and now you can see the Swans having a little bit of a rethink of how they want to play this second point. Bring in Bongo, I was about to say off the Bastion, it's back onto the Bastion, but Septi picking up the Reinhardt instead of the Ramatra. So trying to give a little bit more shielding, perhaps a little bit more cover to the Bastion the second time around.
Yeah, I mean, this is a solid point, a solid way to play it, but of course, we're gonna have to see how they do, as they already got double first blood there. Looks like they found the third, and it is just so aggressive to get on there. And the Symmetra, forgetting that they actually have the point, TP's back on, but the wall like that from Mini is just so clean. And the Pirates, these guys are just doing exactly what they need to do to take a early lead in this best of 5.
And we've really, again, said this last week, I'm going to say it again now this week. I'm sure we'll be saying it in the semis and grand finals, but these May picks have been massive with the walls coming through, and Mini Mythical doing such a great job of controlling how these engagements are going in their favor and just tunnel visioning the damage. They're doing such a great job of focusing fire. I say that as Idrox is finally caught out by the combined projectiles coming in from the Hanzo and the May, but now brawling out in the middle. Beast is able to take down Septi. That should give them a good pocket of space to play with as the barrier is less contested. The Earth Shatter coming through and hitting 3 leads to a quick cleanup from Roach, making sure that the Pirates once again stay in control, using this early momentum from that first fight win to just skyrocket them through the rest of the round. And without something big and swingy like that Ramatra ult, it's going to be a lot harder for the Swans to regain that control, but ideally their comp means that when they do get in position, they're less susceptible to a quick retake like we saw on Night Market.
Yeah, I mean, you only can ask of the best things here, but these guys, they know the kind of gameplay that they want to bring to the table, and they already are with a beautiful May ult. It is keeping them cold, it is freezing them and keeping us on our bones. But look at this, another player, the Hanzo, managing to barely get through the doorway before falling, and that is another wipe of a team. And this very heavy, aggressive type of playstyle is working beautifully for the Pirates here. They know how to take all of the space that they want. They got more ultimates now. They've set up a Symmetra wall, which should be able to shut down maybe Septi's ult or something, but this time it's going to be much harder to push into this.
And now the Symmetra barrier as well, just cutting off all the damage. The sound barrier coming through to try and keep them alive. The Earthshatter missing the Reinhardt as he's flung up in the air by the own Lucio beat drop. As Idrox is continuing to charge up this beam and get so much damage through. Even the ultimate from the Hanzo isn't able to find the kill onto Beast, who's just able to sustain through the entire fight thanks to the pocket healing from Roach. The DPS damage line may have gone down, but that's not really enough when you're looking at a Reinhardt just swinging that hammer right in your face. And now we're in overtime. The Wrecking Ball having to come out to try and get this last minute contest. The Blizzard coming out as well, using the wall to force Beast down, to be stuck down, and as well cut off from the healing, eventually will fall. This should be an opportunity here for the Swans to flip control of this point pretty comfortably, with the reinforcements arriving just in the nick of time to keep this going.
Yeah, and the Hammond just spinning round and round, getting onto there. We are seeing the window get popped, but unfortunately the only guy getting popped is that ball, that Hammond. And look at that aggressive TP to get right behind your enemy. I mean, you know, who needs a Reaper when you got a Symmetra?
And I thought that was the opportunity. I thought that was the windows for Swans to retake and get some control here, but Symmetra just coming back, able to charge up so much damage on the beam off of the Wrecking Ball and then transfer that damage into the damage lineup and just cut away the squishies. And we're seeing, once again, another support player of the game coming through. You love to see it. So much damage in that final fight. The healing as well, dancing around that window so gracefully just to make sure you're always getting either the double damage or the double healing through it is really, really great positioning and understanding of the ultimate ability coming through. And just a really strong performance from the Pirates coming out in what we'd sort of anticipated to be quite a close matchup, showing there is no contest, at least on Lijiang Tower. That was a demolition.
Yeah, I mean, that was a fast 2-0 and kind of what you would expect from the Pirates here. They came in swinging and they really took the cake there. So looking at how that game kind of played itself out there, you know, what would be the next step here for the Swans? What would be the adaptation they had to pull out? Where were they lacking? What was it? Was it a, you know, team composition? Was it a specific, you know, synergy that just wasn't working? Where did they fail if you were on the Swans, Golu?
I find it hard to critique the Swans massively. I think the biggest thing for me coming out of that game is wait for your 5-man. We saw too many times, and it was a little bit better on Control Tower. It was not great on Night Market, where a fight would be lost. You lose that initial pick, especially at the start of a game. You lose your Bastion and your tank. Just back away. Just run out. right? There's no reason to keep fighting against these odds and just feeding that ultimate charge going in. You can give them a little bit of point control, right? You get back, you wait for your respawns to come through. Sure, your opponent's going to be sat somewhere between that 15-20% mark, but then you get a full-on fight going back in again. Instead, we'd see this constant straggle of, oh, maybe I can get a quick exit frag, maybe I can try and finish off the Lucio here and try and get them down, and you just end up feeding more healing ult charge, more damage ult charge, more point control going over, because then by the time you do die, the rest of your team still has to wait for you to stagger. Then we'd see these long extended fights where there's no need for you to be running in time and time again. But the thing that sets up those situations is just amazing prioritization of targets coming in from the Pirates, the Wolves coming in, and all 5 members just barreling down on one player, be it Bongo on the Bastion or Septi on the Reinhardt, making sure there's no opportunity for them to get these quote-unquote fair fights. It was brilliant from the Pirates.
Yeah, there was no such thing as a fair fight when it came to going up against them. So I agree with you 100%. I think that when it comes down to it, they just got to learn how to brawl a little better. But now moving into our next map here, I'm hoping that they're going to be able to shatter their way through and get us straight into the game. But of course, you know, looking at how they played, I'm a bit worried for the Swans because, you know, obviously this is do or die, but now we're going to see how they can thrive on Hollywood, a payload map that we all know and love. But let's see what they actually bring to the table here, as it is a hybrid style map. This is not going to be the easiest type.
More importantly, it's spooky Hollywood, which, you know, doesn't really change anything, but the windows are cooler. The windows look cooler, nice and orange lighting. There's a couple jack-o'-lanterns scattered around. I do like the reskins. I think it's my favorite still the Kings Row Christmas one. It just looks gorgeous. But I'm also very biased because I do really love me some Kings Row. That being said, we have seen a bit of a reduction in Kings Row this season, right? With the map change coming through, as you know, we do get the nice rotation of maps in between seasons to get some variety. Kings Row being a permanent fixture in the Overwatch community, I think would be pretty fair to say, but teams really leaning into a bit of Hollywood, maybe try and catch out their opponent. The Swans coming in with a pretty interesting lineup. Once again, Septi coming in on that Diva. And we've seen a bit of Diva lurking around, as well as pairing up the fact that we've got Ace back on that Tracer, Bongo on the Hanzo. So looking for a little bit more of an explosive start to this round. Maybe try and find and isolate some single targets. And with, well, Eyedrop's playing this Bastion now, that's a big pick if you can find it.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, but I also want to, you know, see what these guys are going to do. Nice lineup, goes straight for the sky, and where's it going to land? And actually, there it goes, finally lands down. But look at this, they're just getting aggressive. I like this dive comp that we're seeing from the Swans. I think having a, you know, Echo plus Diva, they have a lot of aerial that is very hard to deal with the team comp that they have on the side of the Pirates. So this could be a helpful amount of DPS, but wait a minute, they have to now try to just manage through. Roach is going to grab Bongo, Ace grabs Roach, Septi grabs Eye Drops, and everybody is getting grabbed and now has to kind of reset. This is just a back and forth here.
Yeah, you've taken down the Bastion, which is your primary source of damage coming in. Roach as well, your primary source of healing, so attrition should be on the side here of the Swans, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Just run into the site, just don't let this Ramatra get to your backline. Does take down Orpheus, but that's okay. You still got Gwyn alive on that Ana, who's your primary healer. The point of the Brigitte here is just to keep them alive. It's to give that extra little bit of peel and protection to the Ana to keep building up those nanos, and more importantly, those purple nades are going to be so valuable in this matchup, especially with, you know, Beast does run that Ramatra. It does have the shield he can pull up, but there are big windows in between that cover, and once it's there, you know where it's staying. So you can angle those nades in, cut off the healing to the key pieces like the Bastion, which has now been swapped off for that Widowmaker, but also the tank to try and whittle them away. That early headshot onto Bongo followed up with an Icicle from Mini Mythical to make sure they get that opening pick onto Bongo, and Septi going to take a little bit of a fallback, but Ace just throwing out the stickies.
Wow. And look at this, we might see something decent from here. Septi getting a double kill down, and this Echo knows how to track it, but do they know where to shut down these players? The May actually going for some nice clean snipes, but when the heals come out, Ace stays alive. And that already is the Pirates kind of just taking a back seat to this next upcoming round. I mean, Hollywood just not as dominant as the Lijiang Tower for them.
Devlo now changing off of that Lucio, feeling that they want a little bit more of that damage and healing benefit from the Illari, and also, you know, flex the nice golden weapon on the newer heroes. Septi already taking this high ground control though, and choosing it to apply a little bit of pressure down onto the defensive lineup. They're going for the lift to try and boost themselves up. They've left behind their support and immediately just knocked back off. Except doing a great job to vie for this control, making sure they have control of it. Does get the lantern as well as, well, Gwyn's gone, so the healing kind of being cut away here from the Pirates.
Yeah, and if you lose out on that extra support, then you might have a bit of an issue. But wait a minute, Pirates is turning up the heat by taking out Septi. There goes the tank, and unfortunately, that tank is not going to come back with anything to really fight with, except maybe a D.Va ultimate. I mean, that could be something that completely shuts these players down, as they don't really have a shield tank right now, except for maybe a very well-timed Ramatra play. So, looking at this, I can tell that they're kind of just waiting to cook with these ultimates here. They got 4, so do the enemies, and they already popped theirs. So, what's going to shatter this silence?
Also, the Echo inside of a Kitsune Rush can build up stolen ultimates so quickly with the reduced time to build them already. So if you can keep yourself alive, the dive here onto the Widowmaker, met with the snare a little bit late. Again, vying back, cutting away these longer lines of sight, so you're not getting value out of that pick, but it's taking a lot of damage on the top, has to drop away and will be demech. Eyedrops takes down Ace as well, so already this fight looking comfortably in control for the Pirates, who once again are holding onto this high ground so well, preventing this cart from getting any movement. The purple coming through onto the Mei, but will be able to run out as there's not too much going on. As the Swans still just continuing to linger around this point. This is the sort of thing I didn't want to see from them, because now with the wall coming through, you've lost Gwyn so late. Yeah, the reinforcements have arrived, but now you're one man down.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are getting taken down quite often, honestly, and that is a bit of a concern from my side. I think that the Swans had so many ultimates to try to make something work, and Mini Mythical is just shutting them down, and now we're seeing a D.Va trying to snipe right now, so it's not really going to do too much, and Ramatra decides that it is a brawl that they want to take. D-Mex the D.Va goes in, and there's the ultimate coming out from the Illari and just completely shuts them back. So, yeah, this is a scary kind of fight from these players, and now we're looking at maybe the Pirates just take it back here in the second point. Now the real question here, Golu, is can they make it to the second tick of the map?
Well, it's a hard one to say. With Ace currently being hunted down in the backlines, you really have to be careful not to go down. You could see the health bar ticking away as well, so it's looking very likely that Ace is dead before this next fight breaks out. But as I say that, the team is coming back to try and lend that support, and with so much attention being diverted to this Tracer, is this the perfect opportunity for them to get in and get that opening pick? They've taken down one sentry, they're looking for the kill, which Orpheus is able to find onto Eyedrops. The Nano Boost coming through onto the D.Va, who now just really needs to get into the fray, try and find one player, and it's Roach that they get. Such a high value pick. The sleep coming through to stop the Ramatra, chasing down Gwyn as well. Is able to get the pick onto the Ana, but at what cost? As the rest of the team falls behind them as they've just left them to be picked apart by the rest of this lineup. Ace staying alive so long, Orpheus doing so much damage with the kunais, just gets that point rolling through, and it looks like they're going to make it to checkpoint number 2.
Yeah, and they will succeed in getting this far, and that's going to add a few more minutes on the counter. And now 2.5 minutes to try to get back. But wait a minute, they are trying to contest this late. This could be an early retake of the site, and it is surprisingly working well. So look at that, Ace is going to try to clean it up, but so far defense, they are taking a lot more damage than their dish now, and I think that this is going to allow for a few meters pushed for free here.
Yeah, especially now with this prioritization of trying to catch out onto the Ramatra, get as much damage through as possible. The healing potentially going down is going to cut things away just a little bit as Eyedrops taken out by the long shot from the Hanzo on the sidelines. And now again, just this forward positioning from the Swans. The main thing is they've forgotten to keep anyone on the payload. Now it's finally going to be rolling in progress once more, while still playing around this forward choke point, again trying to deny as much space as possible to the Pirates. And so far it's working. Ramatra trying to force their pathway on the left-hand side, with the rest of the team not moving to follow.
Yeah, not much that they can do here, but wait. A big sleep, and it doesn't even matter. You can put the beast down for a second, but it'll just come back up angrier. This ultimate is just punching his way right through everybody, and it looks like with the double kill, he's gonna have to walk away, but no, he can't this time. He got overconfident, and the supports weren't able to get around that corner, so he just took too much damage. But hey, with 1 minute remaining, we're seeing a nice nano. Oh, wait, come on, you're nanoed. You gotta get something. Not even going for a pulse bomb, just has to run away now. A real waste of an ultimate there.
It's unfortunate to see, especially with a minute left. It's unlikely you're going to build up the charge on that in time unless there's a really extended, scrappy overtime fight. And now the Pirates come back out, able to take control of this. And with the Mei, Blizzard in tow, they can save this through this fight as they're getting a quick cleanup through onto the Swans. Still Septi lurking around on this D.Va, but again, it doesn't really matter. You'd ideally want to go for a full reset here to try and just set up for one last final team effort push. the wall dropping down to try and slow down some of the movement options, trying to cut Orpheus off from peeling up their tank. But with the mobility available to this lineup of the Swans here, they are able to disengage and reset for this final push. 25 seconds left on the clock, Edu. There's still this Blizzard as well to hold control of the car.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't get it all the way, this is very far for a map of Hollywood, and I know that, you know, it's definitely winnable in this position, but they just have to get that extra bit. 10 seconds to go. D.Va on the bomb, and we just got everybody trying to push it forward, but May ult is amazing. It's separating the whole team out, takes out the supports from using eye drops as aim, and there's the attack visor. What can you do? Not much. Ace is stuck, and Ace is down, and there it is. Overtime, Team Ace, and there it is.
Some good pushes in there from the Swans. Ultimately, the Pirates having enough important retakes to sort of prevent this full cap coming through on Hollywood. But still, that's a lot of progress, like you mentioned. And I think for the Swans, I'll be very happy with that. The main thing is being very careful of early Pirates aggression here. I would not at all be surprised to see something similar coming out from them. Something like a Symmetra May still making the table is very much an option. The Reinhardt for Beast to just give him that very strong up close, up personal tool where he can really brawl it out as much as he wants on top of the point. Because again, the biggest thing is with the payload, when it gets to that second part of the map, you do have this moving objective that the attackers constantly have to keep sort of tabs on, keep at least one player on if they want to be making them progress, as well as this high ground that you can play around. So something like a Symmetra that we've seen coming out from them as Mini Mythical currently hovering over that pick is going to give them a lot of opportunity to turn these somewhat immobile, brawly tanks, give them that platform to jump up onto the high ground and get right in the face of the Swans, who have already come out with a bit of an interesting lineup. Ace on that Genji, not a pick I was necessarily expecting to see coming through today. Bongo returning on that Soldier is very interesting, considering this sort of high priority we've seen on Bastion, who can sort of fill a similar void to that Soldier in a lot of instances.
Yeah, and now looking at this next round here, I think that their team composition is very squishy, and that could be a bit of an issue for them later down the road. I know that, you know, squishiness is not what you want to be seeing, especially when you're up against eye drops on a Bastion. So, you know, let's see how they're able to do it. The D.Va has a lot to prove here as that sole tank. But whoa, what a shot from Bongo. Takes out Mini Mythical right away. The Ramacha, though, just taking so much space and taking this D.Va out of mech. And so far, not much you can really do besides just run away. And Ramacha doesn't care, just running it down, going ham. But wait a minute, Ace comes in from the sidelines with his slash and dash, takes out Beast. And there it is, another round. And I think pretty solid defense from the Swans.
Yeah, you can see what they were going for, right? Teleport up onto the high ground, try and catch out Orpheus and Gwyn on those squishy support targets. But, you know, with the Suzu coming through and the ability to just sort of rotate off, brilliant peel coming in from the Swans to make sure that doesn't happen. And now they're going on to a little bit more traditional. They're bringing out eye drops on the Genji to try and contest against Ace. But of course, that Dragon Blade going to be up so much sooner for the side of the Swans, which is a big advantage, especially with the squishier targets coming through. Zarya as an answer to the D.Va could be a very creative solution, though.
I mean, I like the XP that we're seeing here, but again, he has a chance of eating this. But of course, with no way to protect against the main beam, this could be a good counter pick. But eye drops no longer on that Bastion, switches over to the Genji, and unfortunately bites off a bit more than they can chew. And Septhi is just able to walk around for free, still defense, but that Zarya is just beaming him through and somehow not able to finish the job. This is looking great, and Septhi's just gonna keep getting aggressive. The Zarya now dying the same way that the Genji did, and unfortunately the Pirates might not be able to take the first point. I mean, that's why they call it a hybrid, but this is something completely different. This is just a complete shutdown so far.
Yeah, and it's all coming off the back of excellent peeling from the Swans. You see eye drops able to get into the backline, able to get behind the backline of Swans, able to start getting that damage onto Orpheus on that Ana. Sleep Dart comes through perfectly to shut down the Genji, and immediately Septi and Gwyn both there to meet him and force him out and get that opening pick. And now you're looking for a hectic ultimate by Ultimate with the Kitsune Rush being thrown out by Gwyn. Orpheus does go down quickly, and it's the Dragon Blade coming out from eye drops, getting the double kill, which is an excellent start for them, getting the triple, taking down Gwyn as well. And the point will fall in favor of the Swans. Of the Pirates, sorry, after a lot invested to win out that one, right? You needed both the window and the Dragon Blade coming through. But on the bright side, you have pulled out some key ultimates from the side of the Swans.
Yeah, this has been pretty clean so far, but it looks like they are going to eventually get right on to hopefully start the payload part of the hybrid map. We do have the Graviton Surge available. Beast honestly does not have that high of an average when it comes to the energy that they're bringing with the Zarya, but as long as they can pop a nice ultimate here and shut these players down, I think that this could be a fast second point. But Beast so aggro. I gotta wonder who's on the cart in the behind the scenes, you know, who's just chilling and waiting for their team to make all the space.
My guess would be it must be Devlo on the point, right? Get the oh no, it's not the Lucio. Or it must be the Ashe, I guess.
Mini Mythical somehow still on the cart, able to get a pick on a Bongo. And this is looking all right. They're getting so aggro. The fact of the matter is, you could be as aggressive as you want as long as you have at least one person on the cart. I was watching a tournament yesterday, and it just did not have a single person. And yeah, it was that Ashe sitting back and waiting. So good stuff. I mean, even from this objective-based gameplay, still able to take out that soldier is huge. So yeah, I think the Pirates know how to be taking this objective. And now it's just down to the third point, unless we can see a huge comeback. They have the Hammond pull out.
Yeah, and you can see this is also down to this very aggressive positioning from Pirates coming in. Even when they're capping that first point, they're outside the spawn doors for the Swans to deny them any opportunity to go for these retakes. And now you're seeing, well, a little bit of a slowdown as they're waiting for their final support, who's now swapped onto the Kiriko to come back and join the fray. They're just, again, pushing this point very carefully. Still need to try and keep that high ground and its importance in mind. A nice little bubble coming in from back to deny Ace that kill onto the back line. But it's still not going to matter as the two picks do fall in favor. Eventually, iDrop's able to get in and take down Bongo, but quickly finished off by Septi. But again, you're seeing this difference in discipline. Pirates a lot better at when they recognize their losses in a fight, just sort of dropping back, saying, all right, that's enough. We built up some maybe ult charge, we got some damage in, maybe we get a pick as we're leaving, but we are getting out. We are going to regroup and go for another comfortable fight that we can take as a 5-man unit. And I think that's really important to see from them.
Yeah, these guys are in a great position, and I like what we're seeing, but the main question I have now is how are they going to be able to deal with Ace on the sidelines? So Ace should be able to get behind any supports, but actually completely shattering through. Septi is just using this Hammond big, but Bongo's actually going to be coming up even larger. The Nano Visor gets a triple kill, and that is going to shut down the Pirates and all of the aggression they brought. And there it is, a complete team kill.
And it's unfortunate when you had that barrier come, the Graviton Surge invested, not able to get enough value out of it, despite the fact the window is popped as well. But you can see both Roach and Beast swapping off of their respective Baptiste and Zaryas as well. So meeting that change, interestingly, and, well, with a bit of a sleeping Hammond at the back lines, trying to see if they can catch him off, if they can try and get enough damage through, but it's not going to be enough. And that's because he's a very tanky, wheelie boy. He's able to just fall back to the rest of the team for some heals. Still, well, down to 50 seconds now for this team to make a move on. iDrops does have the ultimate coming through, but Ace is lurking on the backline trying to find the support picks and is able to get Roach out.
Wow, and Mini Mythical stands no chance. Unfortunately, this team is just getting melted by these DPS. The Soldier and the Tracer are managing to make it work, and they're staggering this D.Va. I don't think they're going to be able to get their ultimate off, and beautiful read, and yeah, will finally get taken down there, but with 30 seconds on the clock, that is a huge stagger. So this is the final push that the Pirates get.
The one thing is they do have that Bob ultimate in the pocket of Mini Mythical, which can really help in overtime fights of making sure you have someone on that point contesting, because obviously Bob counts as an entity, counts as a member of your team, and will keep that payload, that overtime clock rolling. But again, this early aggression from the Wrecking Ball paired with Ace jumping down is going to be able to find them that opening pick that they really needed right before this ending engagement. Mini Mythical goes down immediately after popping Bob onto that point, as they're still hunting down for the supports, locked in the downstairs basement as well. iDrop's popping the ultimate, going deep into the backline, is able to get one, looking for that second, but goes purple and punched out by the Ana, who's just staying vigilant in the backlines. The point is rolling, the payload is moving, but overtime is active. It just takes one more fight from the Swans. They have a little bit of time to play with. They can be patient, but instead just jumping into the backline. Gotta be careful, want to get back. Dashing onto the point just in time, Edu.
Jeez, I mean, that was a very close round there. I mean, hopefully not gonna get pushed off yet, but there we have the Kitsune ultimate. It's gonna be able to push them back, but wait, sleep. That's gonna hurt. Tracer comes through, takes out Devlo, and Bongo, the Roach is just the battle Ana, and that ultimate is huge to scare these players away from the site, but it's not going to really get anyone killed, and Ace is still gone uncontested, but unfortunately, the Kiriko's on, and now we have a Sombra, the new Sombra, and this is actually, in my opinion, a little bit stronger than the previous one for just being able to have time to kill, so let's see how they could do if they could just find some more damage, completely shutting down the Hammond here, and now we almost are at it. I think we're at like 3 meters still taking it, and yeah,
it's gonna roll in.
They will. They will.
Unbelievable. The changes coming through as well, both the Tracer and the Sombra coming in to get back to the point and be able to focus down individual targets. As they're still rolling in, they've been given a little bit of time to play with now as well, with that 2 minutes getting added onto the clock. And the Pulse Bomb coming through isn't going to connect, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the kills are falling all in their favor. Mini Mythical now hunting down Ace in that Tracer 1v1 as well. The reinforcements starting to come in from the Swans, the respawns getting them back into action, but with this payload moving and this high aggressive dive comp fully being committed to now, you're looking scarily close to this game, potentially being able to roll through for the Pirates.
Yeah, I think this is going to be possibly just the Pirates pushing their way all the way. I mean, all they have to do is just finish, not even get it all the way to the end. I forgot that they had a decent final choke point. So, see, 30 seconds on the clock. We saw how overtime fared for the Swans, and I like the fact that the Swans have ultimates to save up on. They got everything they need to push these players back. They've been saving it since last round, so this is kind of the Hail Mary 30 seconds that they need.
Pulse Bomb's the one to watch here. You've also got Attack Visor, Kitsune Rush combination, which can be massive in getting that damage through, especially onto the number of squishy targets you have between the Sombra, the Tracer, and the Lucio. Tracer 1v1 could be a big pick for them here as the Brigitte trying to push down into the point. Eyedrops falls to Septi. Bongo is going to pop that tack and get the kill onto Mythical Visa, and that's going to be the swipe. That's going to be the cleanup from them. There's nothing you can really do. The Soldier does go down, but with the Tracer and the Diva down, no one can move back in to recontest, and the Swans are able to get a map pick here on Hollywood. They win it out. The series is back to one map apiece between these two teams.
Wow, 1-1 is a wild way to say it, but looking at this, I do want to say Mini Mythical, this May has been the MVP for quite a few rounds now, and I can't wait to see what they do in the next one, as I think they are going to be bringing that May forward, and it kind of brings you the question, why not bring the May on attack? I mean, it's pretty strong, and switching over to Ashe might have been a little bit of a misread, but Golu, that's a now tied scoreline here, so moving into our next map, I believe it's going to be an escort mission. How do you think they're going to fare?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. We've seen both of these teams coming out with really good last-minute plays around the payload on Hollywood, and I think you're looking at a map purely payload-based. I don't know what to expect. We've seen some good diversity from both of these teams with the ability to play dive and get in on things like the Diva, the Sombra, the Tracer. We've seen more brawly comps coming out with Symmetra, May, and Reinhardt. And the support backlines have been very fluid to meet sort of expectation and needs of their damage and tank lineups, which has been just really nice to see. Overwatch being used with sort of maximum effectiveness in terms of changing up picks and responding to your opponent's playstyle. I don't know what to see. I'm honestly don't know what to expect coming into our next map of Havana as well, which we haven't seen yet this season on stream, so we'll be interested to see what these teams have been cooking up behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think that these guys have the chance at really just setting the stage for what we can expect in the playoffs, in the bracket stage of the Welsh Esports League. Because if we do start seeing, you know, some actually close gameplay, I'm going to be just blown away, because these guys have, that was an intense game on Hollywood, and Havana, I think, has a lot of opportunities to move forward. I mean, I know that last time we talked, Esperanza was one of the maps that you might have wanted to see more of, but hey, we do have to be taking what we get. We still could. I mean, that is a possibility if this goes all the way to a full-on best-of-5, but you know, we might be able to see some other gameplay as well. I'm hoping that we do see a full best-of-5, as these guys have been able to really show that they're evenly matched. So you know, with that in mind, let's hope that we're going to be jumping into Havana shortly with some real quality gameplay for us to be watching. And you know, let me ask you, what kind of team compositions do you like to see for Push? What kind of brawl is the current meta?
See, I can go both ways. I think dive can be very fun to watch. I'm personally, you know, I'm a May enjoyer. I like to see the sort of brawl style comps come through. Spitfires fan. Let's get the Reinhardts. Let's swing those hammers. But I think for a map like Havana, you got these really long sight lines, and that's why we're seeing the Pirates rocking out with this double sniper composition. I think if Swans go for that dive, you can see Ace already leaning onto that Genji. There's a real opportunity here for them to be able to jump in, dive down deep, and try and cut away a lot of the damage options very early on. But it's going to be you know, both of the brothers coming through, the Hanzo and the Genji maybe. Could be interesting to see a little bit of a sniper duel off either way if they stick the Widow instead. I don't know. I think Brawl's pretty fun to watch though. I think that would be my. I mean, I'm an avid enjoyer of the old Goats meta. I was a Goats connoisseur, you could say, Edu. I loved all the innovations of the Goats. I really enjoyed them all. So, maybe I'm in the minority here.
I do think that it might come down to, I kind of wanted and always have wanted to see in Overwatch 2 the pirate ship. And we got pirates on our team, but unfortunately pirate ship doesn't really work with a 5-player team. But hey, we might see something weird coming through, as we do have, of course, a Sigma to try to put up the flag and might be able to push them their way right onto it. But eye drops on the Widow is kind of, it's a bold pick. If you don't get your shots off, then you're just kind of doing nothing.
And we're kind of seeing that at the moment. Both teams sort of struggling to find this opening pick, and while that's happening, the payload just rolls on through. Finally, Bongo able to get a quick double kill, which is going to free up a lot of space for them here. He's now able to take this high ground away, and the rest of the team just keeps rolling the objective through. The first point goes with very little contention, and this is sort of the weakness of these sniper compositions. You don't have that meaningful front line. You don't have anything that get into the face of your opponent, and we're seeing the changes up coming through. Davilo moving now onto the Brigitte to try and add that extra sort of just frontline presence, that extra brawling ability to go onto the payload, to stop it moving. Because if you're not finding the picks with those snipers, it's very difficult as the Sigma here to walk up and take that space away.
Yeah, and now looking at this, though, the Sigma trying to get enough space, but unfortunately this tank is just not helping out. The sniper versus sniper battle is going to come through, and Bongo is going to take out this Hanzo mini. But wait a minute, Beast kind of, again, up close and personal, a bit too personal for these guys, but what a position. Bongos get the high ground, but he's not really hitting his shots quite yet. Needs to finish off that Brigade, but there's just too much healing, and they have to focus on the cart. But this has been a very fast and aggressive style gameplay.
Still now waiting to see what's coming through at the end of this, as they are able to clean up and hold on to control of that point with the final kills coming through. Finally able to take down Septi and stop this payload moving, but still 4 minutes 30 on the clock due to how quick that initial take was from that first point for the side of the Swans, as they're running back out of the spawn doors on, again, matching up with a pretty similar lineup, right? They both got the Hanzo, they both got that Sigma as well. The main difference is that Genji versus the Tracer, so which one's going to be able to find more value in getting these picks down, especially with contesting onto the enemy Hanzo and Baptiste, is going to be really important to see, as these barriers are getting whittled away and the big boulder coming through.
Oh, huge ultimate from the Sigma, though. That's going to just smash into nothing, as we have a lamp from the Baptiste. Such a hard counter, but Eye Drops reads it like a book and gets a triple kill using that Nova Bomb, a Pulse Bomb there, sorry. And beautiful. Honestly, Eye Drops being able to clean house. Ultimates came through, but it is favoring Pirates on the defense to push this cart back and make sure that the Swans does not get a lot of movement in these first few minutes.
Now resetting once again. Respawn's coming through. You got to try and find a way to break this hold, and the ult from your own Sigma on the side of the Septi might be the biggest tool you have available to yourself. You can pair that with a nice Dragon Blade perhaps to try and just force out these kills while they're all stuck up in the air. The Brigitte 1 HP does go down to Gwyn immediately, stunned out before they can be slammed down into the ground. That's a hefty amount of damage taken away from the toolkit of Septi, as they're looking to try and get this payload rolling once more, fighting onto the sidelines, but still, Beast up and running just isn't going to be threatened out at all.
Yeah, we're not seeing much of a threat here, but wow, does that Tracer cut it close getting out of there. But wait a minute, the Dragon Blade comes through, but again, not a lot of damage dealt by these DPS here. We're looking at really the tanks trying to clean things up, but Gwyn's going to be able to get down. Devlo might be able to do it again, as nope, Gwyn cleaned up by Roach and Eye Drops, and this is just a back and forth brawl. And now we're actually seeing a Hanzo ultimate come through the sideline and swipe a lot of HP out, but no kills. And unfortunately, it doesn't even get them off the site here. So if it's not off the site, then they are going to be capping point number 2.
And we keep on rolling as the next point is completed. Just under 4 minutes on the clock now for the Swans to complete Havana, the castle stage. Then it should be pretty interesting, and again, we're still seeing this leaning towards the Hanzos. Neither one want to change off, because again, long open lines of sight, and the projectiles coming in from the Genji are going to be able to sort of help with this trickle damage effect coming through. Barry doing a good job to give Septi this sort of pillar of control around the first corner and prevent too much movement from the Pirates coming out of the castle itself. The ultimate built up for Beast, getting ready to unleash it, and again, Eyedrops on this flank, getting ready to try and take down the Zenyatta on point, throwing up the pulse bomb, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It's not.
Yeah, not a lot that they can do. I mean, honestly, I think the Baptistes are the real MVPs here. They've been able to do an amazing job keeping their teams alive, but Orpheus and Ace, they're just kind of working in sync to get down these DPS, and there it is. Septi will grab Beast for numbers, and geez, the Swans, they just want to swim their way for free here all the way up into map number 3. I mean, these guys, they know what they're doing. They really have shown up against the Pirates, and I think that's why every time we cast them, we see Gwinnable in chat.
We do see the Gwinnables in chat. It's fine though, right? Because they just keep going, and now the ultimate coming out from Septi as well, just setting them back to the spawn, is once again stunned out. So great job by Beast to try and limit the potential. Drops the ultimate of their own and absolutely cleans up house. You can say what you will about the Swans and their efficiency with running in, but Beast has a very clear understanding of the win conditions in this specific tank matchup, and we've seen time and time again come out on top in the exchanges of these ultimates, of these boulders coming through, to make sure that Septi's potency is really sort of kept under wraps. And that has really led to the saving of that round. They were so close to be able to push through to finish off the map, but pairing with the stun with the ultimate of their own to clean up house is a massive play for Beast.
Yeah, these are some big plays, but Septi, look at this aggression up close, getting hit by the side, lots of stuns coming through, and Ace is just trying to break their way all the way down and has the Dragon Blade if they want to pop it soon, but they have to make sure that they get some of these supports, and Gwyn is down. That could open the door for something, and eye drops 1v1 Genji versus Widow, but first there is going to be a little bit more pot damage, just taking a hit after time, but what a wall from the player there, the Sigma able to save him. So Golu, I think that eye drops might need to switch off soon, in my opinion. I think they've been on Widow the entire time. It just hasn't really cooked enough. Yeah,
we've seen it. We've seen a bit of diversity, right? Then we've seen some changes now with the Soldier coming out as well, trying to help with this last minute sort of hold. But with Beast going down, you lose that powerful front line, and 60 seconds on the clock. It's interesting time to see that Transcendence pop, especially when you've got that Soldier 76 tactical visor ready to drop on them. The boulders to force him back though, and just keep this Zenyatta alive. Eyedrop's finally able to come out on top in that Genji matchup, and with the Dragon Blade available, that's a massive pick to find this late into the game. Is just continuing from the back line to clear up. Clearly took that statement saying that they should maybe not get the value out of it, took that personally and dropped off. Dropping back again, but now still just continuing to brawl out. Zenyatta's trying to see who can keep their Sigma alive the most efficiently as they brawl it out inside the little box, but with Roach coming in to clean things up, the defense holds tight once more. 20 seconds on the clock. Gwyn is the tank now, apparently. That is the rule. Gwyn's Baptiste is the tank.
Honestly, I mean, they kind of live up to it. Every time that they look like they're about to die, they pull out a unstoppable lamp to scare them back. And wait a minute, though. Pirates is able to do a repeat of game 1. Are they going to touch the point? No, they're not. They get massacred by Mini. But wait, no, they are touching. Ace manages to just barely hit it. And there we have Beast scaring them off anyways. All of the ultimates saved up for that last push, and it was the ultimate play style to kick these guys off. And now Swans has to do a repeat of Hollywood if they want to be taking it.
I don't want to get too nitty-gritty for the side of the Swans here, but again, you've got a minute left in the round. You've lost 2 picks, and we're popping Transcendence to get, what, some healing onto Septi? It's not worth it, my man. Let's wait. Let Septi die. It doesn't matter. Regroup. You have a full push coming through. You've got Ace with the Dragon Blade ready to go. You have Septi building up towards another ultimate on the Sigma as well. Like, you're in a really strong position here to contest right at the dying seconds. The Tac Visor is the only thing that can really pull you apart. Well, the Tac Visor paired with the opposing Sigma ult coming in from Beast, which you know is soonly charging around Septi's own. So what do you go for? Well, that's the opportunity where you can pop that Transcendence, get the maximum value for it, and swing that final fight, giving Eyedrops that, giving Ace that safety net to play in during his own Dragon Blade. But instead, they have to pop all these ultimates at sort of disconnected timeline, and that's what leads to these big windows for Pirates to be able to find picks and stall out that clock. That 1 minute resulted in a final 15-second mad dash for the point where you don't have this sort of connected effort. And that's what led to them being stalled out and dropped off by the Pirates, who now have a chance to come out of their own. And Eyedrops has this tendency to play the Widowmaker, which is so much more powerful on the attack. because you have more space to play around. But saying that, the Swans are meeting them at the spawn door.
Yeah, Swans are in spawn, and they are just trying their best to scare them all the way back in here. But wait a minute, eye drops not on the Widow, this time on the Pharah. Pharah being that pharmacy combo that we love to see. But wait a minute, Lucio trying to brawl with them. That's a unique play style, and somehow manages to get away with their life. So good stuff on them, but I don't think anybody's really focusing on eye drops here, but I understand why. He's not really doing too much damage. Not able to shut these players out, and unfortunately just going to get picked away.
The Lucio brawl was too OP, I guess, and you can see the Swans there, right? They had their mission plan. Let's just focus down the tanks. It's the tanks that are going to be moving the payload. Let's just stop them from getting any progress. And nearly 6 meters capped so far, as you can see. They're just not giving them an inch of wriggle room. The wall coming through to try and cut down the Reinhardt, who is already quite low on damage, with this Bastion Sentry just coming through to deny any escape out the side door while they run them into the left flank. It's a really good job by the Swans to limit this. We've seen this kind of hold only once before, that dreaded Circuit Royale game, if you remember, if we cast our minds back.
Yeah.
This is not quite to that level yet, but it's starting to look it.
I mean, I did not expect this considering how well the Pirates did in map 1. You know, flawless 2-0, but this time it's just something completely different. We're seeing a team that not only can't leave their spawn, they can't get an inch on the cart as well. I mean, this is not looking clean. So Pirates, I mean, I think that you got your Royal Navy on your butts right now.
iDrop's finally able to take down Bongo, which should be the start of the end for this spawn hold, but with Septi still going big, finally a Bastion coming through, but again, the barrier doing so much work. I've never seen a Reinhardt shield live so long as the Mei runs through Mini Mythical. They can try and get this healing back onto Septi, get him into fighting form before the next engagement begins, but with iDrops quickly finishing off the Reinhardt, that should send them fleeing, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Run back, give some space over, as the pin onto the Bastion could be a potential late kill. No, the lamp coming through in perfect time, but the Earth Shatter, well, that came through even cleaner, and that will be the undoing of this full hold for the Swans, as the payload's going to keep on rolling, but still quite far back at this point in time.
Yeah, these guys have a lot on their plate, and somehow the Pirates has made it around the corner here. They've gotten past the first major choke, and somehow, with 1 minute and 20 seconds left, they might be able to get all the way through the end here. So this is looking all right. I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing, you know, maybe, just maybe the Swans recontest and get them back on the toes here and maybe turn this game around in their favor. But so far, it's looking pretty evil. Oh, the Mei ace. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Might be able to find another one here. And yeah, you're not running away. Wait, jump straight up in the air, and luckily Orpheus is going to be able to track him.
And the retake for the Swans is so clean. And again, this is the advantage. You can see they didn't do this on their attack, but they're doing it on the defense. You back up, you die, you respawn together, and you could just run back and retake it. Septi coming through as well on the Eraser is a massive change-up because of just how much space it demands. And again, that's what's forcing off the Reinhardt of their own. And that's why Beast is now making this appearance on the Zarya, because you just get juggled around. You get no space to play. The Death Blossom is going to be the big one for iDrop series. He teleports into the middle of the team, dropping in the Bastion artillery as well. Gets the pick onto the lamp. The wall coming through just cuts iDrops away, and he's already used his Raid Form. He just gets cut down, but immediately Mini Mythical making up for that. The damage output through the window is immense.
Yeah, and oh my god, this Bastion cannot miss a shot, just completely mowing these players down with the 4K team kill to secure this first point. But if that was the battle that we saw for first point, they are in for a uphill battle all the way to the end, and I don't even know if they're going to be able to do it. But hey, these guys like to prove me wrong, so hopefully they can do that.
2 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock now. A little bit less than the 4.5 that the Swans had available to themselves, and they weren't able to complete the full run. Orisa taking a lot of early damage, but Gwyn in position to heal up, well, both Septi and Ace, as Orpheus finds the first pick. The Kunais proven themselves to be quite lethal in the hands of Orpheus. Still brawling out for the point. Got to be very careful of Orisa going down. The ultimate coming through, as well as a lamp to pair with it. Does take down the opposing lamp as well. Keeps all the members alive as Orpheus continuing to run through the backline on the support nonetheless.
Oh, fat ultimate though, and look at this. We might see a Death Blossom combo with the artillery strike. Pirates, they might not be able to get out of their spawn every once in a while, but when they have ultimates, they can combo beautifully, and that is setting us up for a big push here to try to get into that third and final zone. If they do that, then this could lead into Pirates taking another map here away from the Swans. As Swans, I believe, had this map in the bag, but something has been going wrong, and I don't know if that's the Pirates just cooking.
The potential concern here is you used both the Reaper and Fashion ultimates, and you can see what immediately happens. They come in with a Blizzard, they're able to get some damage through, but it's not enough to contest it back just now. The Kitsune Rush being committed, so no ultimates left available to the side of the Pirates. They continue to try their push. With all the sustain coming through from the side of the Swans, they're just living on the point. No one's dying, but more importantly, that payload is no longer moving. Devlo goes down, but they find 2 quick kills of their own onto both of the supports of the Swans, which is a great way to start getting that attrition war going over in your favor, especially with a high charge Zarya. But with Roach going down quickly afterwards, Septi just continuing to live, just being this nuisance on the point, is able to just roll away to safety as well. So the progress stalled out. Bongo getting that important, well, being killed is very important, as again, just continuing to try and contest for this front room. iDrop's doing a great job denying as much space as possible to give them the freedom to keep moving this payload. 22 seconds left on the clock here, Edu, as they're going for a last contest.
Yeah, this is do or die in this moment for the Swans. If it gets to the next point, it's not going to be easy, but there is another black hole to shut them down. Septi's ultimate, though, will be able to grab the Bastion, and that's huge. Unfortunately, they haven't found this Tracer yet, and they're just still buying some time. iDrop's needing to now try to connect, and will scare them off. And Ace is here, dead now. 10-player streak for iDrops, but I don't think that they are going to be able to recontest. No, they are. Septi, how are you still going in?
Oh no, the rest of the team joins in only to be swatted away like flies. As now this continuation coming in from the Pirates, with all the kills coming from the Swans, they have a lot of space to play with. They can really push quite far forwards if they want to. But that doesn't look like that is the case. Instead, just choosing to chill out around the payload does give some opportunities now for a reset from the Swans. They can get themselves up into these comfortable positions, and there's no immediate pressure to greet them. The mine being dropped quite close by to try to prevent from anyone jumping up in his face.
Well, let's see this now. Bongo might be able to go for a flying shot, and unfortunately does not connect it. So good effort from the Widow, but we got to see what's going on point. Roach is going to get his lamp taken out by a pulse bomb, but that is a big investment for a lamp. Now, looking at this, we are seeing Ace going around in circles trying to just take that pit damage, and they're not really doing much about this tank, though. Beast for numbers. He's just going ham in collecting as much space as possible here, Golu. But what can they do? Ace is still trying to just do the damage, but no one has died yet. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see a single death until Septi.
And it keeps on rolling. The Pirates in full control as they're nearing the end of this map. The respawns have to come through soon for the side of the Swans if they want to be able to get back. The Tracer coming out in favor of the Mei, recognizing they have enough time to get back to the point, and this Mei is going to do so much more at slowing down the push if anyone can touch. And they drop down, able to prevent some movement. The lamp coming through, but not enough time to save Bongo's life. Ace now is on point with the Mei, and this is going to be a big opportunity for them to stall as Septi. Septi just grabs them all off, but it's met immediately by the counter ultimate from Beast to get so much more work done. Once again, the full sweep. The payload rolling through, and the Pirates take map number 3. They steal away Havana, and it's going to go to push.
Wow. I mean, I got to look at this play of the game because there were so many great plays. I'm thinking it's going to be the Death Blossom combo, or yeah, maybe just that triple kill we saw in the first round. However, I got to point out, this game was going to end in... Oh, it's actually this ultimate at the very last second that gets to play of the game, but good stuff. But I gotta say, they were getting spawn camped, and then they managed to take that game. That's an insane just shift in momentum for them.
That's a turnaround and a half, and I think it really just goes to show, right, once you get that momentum going, if you can maintain control of the ultimates, you have so much power to dictate when these fights are happening, how they're going to occur. And we saw that time and time again, and we saw the Swans make, for my liking, too many changes to their lineup. They put in a Wrecking Ball to try and get back to contest on the second point. Instead, just stick with what works, right? You roll out a composition, you feel pretty comfortable, you've drilled on it, just keep going with it. And eventually, you got to trust that you're going to have this momentum. You're going to break their form, and then you're on your comfort pitch. You're not adapting to your opponent's playstyle too much. And I think especially at, if you can play everything equally good, great. But I think it's very few players in the player base who are comfortable playing every single style of composition. Do what works for you, and just stick to your own guns, your own gut instinct. And I think we're seeing that a little bit more from the Pirates, where there's still a couple of adjustments coming through, right? They're bringing in things like the Widowmaker to try and get some picks, and they're going, oh no, it's not working, let's bring out a Reaper Bastion instead. But they have like 2 or 3 comfort zones, and they're very good at always pivoting back to one of those comforts when things start to go badly for them. And I think that's really carrying them over in some of these team fights where there's less stress thinking about the wider plan or the macro game. You're just thinking about, what am I doing on my hero in this fight, and taking it fight at a time and pushing yourselves over the line.
Yeah, and I think honestly we're going to be jumping right into the next round here. These guys are pretty hyped. I think they should have a lot on their plate, knowing all of the stressors that comes with throwing a pretty hefty lead that the Swans just did there. So I don't know. Looking at the next map, it's a different style of play. You can go back and forth, which I think allows for a lot more of people having time to readjust their picks and maybe go for some counter picking, as that is the main goal of Overwatch. So let's jump into the next one here. It's going to be pretty quick, and of course it's a best of 5, so match point is in the hands of the Pirates right now.
Yeah, and coming into a push, that early momentum, keeping it the point moving, keeping control of it for yourselves is really important, because of that big moment, right? If you're in control, if you're moving the payload, when you lose it, your opponent then has to undo your work. And sure, the robot does move quicker when it's not pushing one of those pylons, but it's still a lot to go for, right? It's still a lot to have to try and do. So if you can string together 2, 3, 4 fights together at the end of the game, sometimes that's enough to just win it out. Even if it takes you all 10 minutes to close out the game, you can just power on through and use that sort of building snowball lead to your advantage. And I think coming into this, both of these teams have shown they're pretty good at winning out these engagements and keeping up pressure. But I think the Pirates, especially off the back of their control on Lijiang Tower, just showing what they can do when given just a little bit of space in these early fights. That's the team that I'm really looking at to come out strong. Some sort of set play piece coming in, giving them that lead, get that opening pick. I'm expecting Maze to make a reappearance here as well. We saw a little bit of it on Havana, but it's not quite that main map. And especially with the Frost theme of this new Queen Street, I'm expecting to see the Wolves flying up, blocking off these tanks and leading to quick and concise picks.
I agree with you. I think that we are going to be hopefully seeing some amazing gameplay from either side, but it's on the back of the Swans to prove themselves here. They've already lost 2 now, and I think, yeah, that was a very close third game, sorry, but I'm looking at a Doomfist on both sides. Doomfist being the main lock-in that we've seen so far here at the Welsh Esports League, as probably the most consistent push-sided tank. So I like that we're seeing that from them, but what other characters might sync well with the Doomfist? I'm seeing McCree's, or Cassidy, sorry. I'm seeing some Maze, but let's see. Actually, no, they switch off the Doom and they switch to Orpheus on... Oh, on the tank. Okay. He was the supports. They're actually having a little bit of a switch of tank to support switch. So Septi switching onto Lucio and Orpheus switching onto the Winston.
This is interesting to see. It's a big gambit to take when you're 1 map down, especially when that playoffs point is still on the line. The sleep coming through, trying to boot them off, but it's not enough. Mini Mythical in the backline just doing so much work, and now Beast with the wall to pair it up. Hunts down both the Lucio and the Winston. Gets control of that first point and gets it moving, and you can see the respawns coming through, immediately leading to a change up in lineup. Orpheus off of that Winston onto the Orisa, the Bastion coming out to pair with it as well, and the Ana off for a Baptiste instead. So a lot of changes in immediate response to this opening pick.
Yeah, this is a lot of change up here. Luckily in Overwatch 2, it's not going to impact the ultimate economy that much, but it will buy some time here for the Pirates to start pushing in. But Orpheus, ready now to prove himself on this tank role, is just shredding their way through. Unfortunately, this is a Ramattra that just likes to punch and will continue to do so, scaring these players back. They almost have the first tick here, nearly at that point, and Ace has not been off of Tracer very often. Still on that Tracer to try to go for the behind the scenes, but I'm looking at in front of everything, just all of the damage, and there's a 5-player streak for Beast and a point captured for the Pirates.
And again, they keep on rolling. They're just running through them, and it's because of this momentum that they've built up for themselves. And now with the first ultimate coming up, it's that window for Roach. Mini Mythical and Eyedrops both very close to their own DPS ultimates, and I mean, Ace making that late change onto the Mei of their own. It's come through at a timing where that Blizzard isn't going to be available for a really long time. Trying to make sure you're not getting caught off here, Beast. But with the window pumping up, that's plenty of damage to come through to give support to the Ramatra tunneling into the backline.
Wow. Look at that. More damage. Eye drops is going to be able to tag Ace. Pretty well done there. But also looking forward to hopefully this ultimate coming through. It is the Bastion. It is the artillery strike, and it is scaring them. What a wall. Many Mythical. Again, this Mei just completely zoning out, but zoned out by a Bastion and the rate of fire that you cannot stop. An ultimate post-mortem is going to help, but Orpheus will fall. And this is looking... Yes, they're just going to push it right through here, Goldu.
Like, this fight's going decently well for the Swans up until the end when the respawns come through, and because that closer respawn, they get back quicker. But they've gone so deep into the backline, they've completely forgotten about the fact that, well, Eyedrops is just standing on the objective, and it's already round the final corner. We're 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes in here, Edu, and they're already looking to close out the map, to close out the series, and secure their semi-final spot.
That's just a crazy lead. I mean, clearly they know how to do this game mode a little bit better, but look at this. Beast is caught off guard thanks to the wall, and Ace is going to be coming in here, switching off of the Tracer and onto the Mei. Might have been the greatest play that they did today, but Bongo also doing a great job on the Bastion. They're just going for whatever they can to buy time, and now, for the first time, the robot is in their control.
Rolling it back, cutting off the short spawn, and, well, nearly back to halfway, but of course that block is still so far. 2 good fights is all that the Pirates really need. As they're fighting around the final corner, the Wolves both going up early, but, well, Beast just running through it, has the ability to pop the Hive if he can get to it, but cut down by Bongo so early on. The movement is just completely prevented from them, still having to drop back because momentum very much still in the favor of the Pirates. As again, just cleaning up house, popping the Icicle to make sure they don't go down to the opposing Mei. Can they draw it out? Well, the Ice Block being met with it, the artillery strike coming through, but the Ice Block holds on strong. That ice is made of very, very tough stuff. As rolling round to the final corner, the respawns coming through, they are going to give a little bit of backup space while moving this robot as far as they dare to not give up a pick of their own. The artillery strike from Bongo is at the ready. As all the ultimates for the Swans are sort of restarting to line up again. This could be another big hold for them.
Yeah, this could be, but here we have the artillery strike landing and getting a double down. 1 on the lamp, 1 on Mini Mythical, but Orpheus from behind is just here for it. But wait a minute, there's a Bastion, and Bastion can probably lose that fight, and yeah, will actually lose that fight. So, I mean, I think they gained an extra 3 meters from where they last were, but still, we have yet to see a single centimeter get taken by the side of the Swans.
Well, already back, ready to fight for this middle ground again, and you've once more seen that advantage of the close spawns. The Blizzard ready to drop from Mini Mythical, as already Gwyn goes down. Orpheus does take a lamp for it, but I don't know if that's really the sort of value you're looking for, as both Blizzards overlapping each other with the kills coming out for the time being in favor of the Pirates, but with this Ramatra going incredibly low, somehow able to be kept alive despite the Hive activated by Orpheus. They're still brawling it out, but with the pick slowly falling away, the support line of the Swans being cut down, there's nothing going to do once that Bastion hits their 2nd century, and again, this payload rolls over. And look, you could be saying, oh, the Swans, they're doing such a good job, they're holding on for dear life. But look how far that block's pointed. And in 4 minutes' time, no matter what happens, that's a very commanding position to have yourself in. The Bastion artillery being dropped around that point, not finding anything for it, and Eyedrops has to be very cautious to get that healing quickly. Will immediately be dropped up to full HP as the Lamp is committed very early to this fight because of Mini Mythical's advanced positioning. They are able to take down beast numbers though, and that's the chance for them to strike back.
Wow, and let's see if this strike back's going to work. We're seeing Ace and Orpheus. They're just going through and scaring these players back. And yet again, we are seeing them now trying to push it through. This time, I think that they might get a single centimeter. I think they have just enough time to get the point on the actual push part. And that might help them a bit. But again, I think it's all about the retake power that the Pirates have shown, as we're now at the 3-minute remaining mark. And it doesn't even get halfway. Doesn't even get there. Wow, eye drops just mowing through that wall. Can't really do too much here, and they're back in control. The Pirates has had a complete domineering play style the entire time.
And this is exactly what happens in this game mode, right? You're just seeing it time and time again. The mine going to be dropped on the Mei as soon as they drop out of Ice Block, but mismanaged and the healing's not come through. So Ace able to get 2 quick kills. That could be relevant when the respawns start to come through. It's a much lesser threat to be looking down. Mini Mythical does have access to the Blizzard as well as the Hive for Beast, so 2 powerful ultimates are swinging the favor, but Ace, a Blizzard of their own, ready to try and slow down this final progress as they're ready out the gate to meet them back for this fight. You're seeing the respect coming through from Pirates, recognizing they need all 5 members before committing in, but the Blizzard drop down from the sidelines is massive. Potentially the wall coming through to split the team in half, but Beast just running through the backline. It doesn't even matter.
Oh, but the stun manages to barely keep him alive, so this ultimate's not actually going to be doing much besides taking out Beast. And there's the new tank you got to focus up, and Orpheus will fall. And now it's pretty much do or die. You have to contest right here, right now. You got about 5 meters remaining, and there's the Bastion. They scare it back. They're going back and forth. The contention is real, and there we have the defense. No, sorry, the Pirates popping their own ultimate to scare him off, and they are able to get a kill with it, luckily.
But now the Reinhardt's back, and again, just brawling out on point, trying to shoot down this artillery to help out from spawn as best they can to clear up the space. And with Beast being back, it could be big for them. But it's still not enough. It's just the respawn so close, and how quickly, with these mobile picks, Ace on the Tracer once again, just getting back to the point. They're stalling and stalling and stalling it out.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a repeat of what we've seen every time that it's moved back over to the Swans. They gain an extra meter. Now we're at 5 meters remaining. Do this 5 times, game's over. And unfortunately, they still have yet to get a centimeter. They don't have any distance covered yet on their side of the objective. So, Ace, it's up to you. You have to shut down this player. You have to try to work it out. And the Pulse Bomb's going to come through, but it's not going to connect. And there we have a nice artillery strike landing right on the supports. And rest in peace, the Bastion. And wait, no one dies from it. Beautiful. Everyone's just getting taken down, and with a minute left, this is the final push.
Realistically, this game's been done from 3 minutes in with how far up this block has been, and with the back and forth way that the fights have been going, they've never been able to get that consistent momentum swing to actually put meaningful distance on the robot of their own. They have 0 meters captured, if you can look at the top left. So despite the fact that so many fights have been back and forth, the objective game has been all in the favor of the Pirates. They'll be looking to close it out, but 40 seconds is all that separates them from their spot in the semi-finals. And with Beast taking down the lamp, that's a great opening start, because the picks will start to fly on through for them as both Bongo and Gwyn go down. Septi, 1 HP, somehow living throughout the fight. Orpheus using this robot for cover is able to get a pick of their own, and now they're looking for that full control over the point as the rest of the Pirates flutter. But still so much movement to do. In 17 seconds, it's going to require a massive overtime momentum shift if they want to take this map. If they want to force the full sweep, it would be a tremendous miracle if they can pull it off. But with a Blizzard round the corner for Mini Mythical, I think it's quite unlikely, as we're waiting for that overtime to hit and the Blizzard immediately deployed.
Wow, everyone's frozen. Everyone's getting kicked off. We do have Orpheus down. Beast for Numbers is going to be able to pop their ultimate as well. And with the overtime done, it is all over here. Match ends with this push, and that's it. So, Pirates, an amazing way to end out the series here. As you said it, Golu, won it 3 minutes in.
And that's push for you. In the nicest way possible. It's really, really brutal to try and fight back from a deficit, and you can see how Pirates just able to sort of use back and forth momentum to their advantage once they've already built themselves up a very comfortable lead. Short spawns swinging back to a near immovable objective, and ultimately really well played out by the Pirates, who were able to use that early momentum, snowball themselves into a really comfortable position, from where they still have to play out the game. Don't get me wrong, they still have to play it out well in these fights to make sure that they don't end up having some sort of terrible comeback loss happen. But for the most part, in comfortable control of that final map to push themselves through. They win 3-1. The Swans are eliminated. They're not going to have that chance to play second place for the third time in a row.
Yeah, they definitely do not have the same capabilities that we wish that we had seen them in game 3. But, mate, the fun fact is we are now going into the later half of Welsh Esports Season 3. That's right. It's bracket time coming up next week. So I'm excited. This is the first time I've gotten to see a bracket here at Esports Wales. So I'm hopeful that it is going to be able to connect the dots and connect the shots. I do want to also take this time to shout out our producers and observers from the day today. Shout out to Little Joe and Kashi. Can't play the game or have us on stream without their wonderful work. Shout out to you, Golu, for being my wonderful co-caster. And also shout out to the players for getting this far at Esports Wales.
Yeah, it's been tremendous so far to the group stage play out, and I am really looking forward to seeing. So, how does adding the elimination stage, having that semi-final, that grand final, change up the outcome of the season? Is it still going to be the artists coming through strong, or in a longer series, is anyone else going to be able to sort of finally knock them out of that pedestal? But you're going to have to find out next week. So for that, make sure you tune in back again, 7 o'clock next week on Thursday for the conclusion of Overwatch Season 3. Until then, have a lovely evening and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.